I poured my husband's sweet tea down the drain. So my husband Jake has this obsession with sweet tea. Not just any sweet tea. His grandmother's recipe that he makes every single Sunday in this massive gallon pitcher. He uses like 2 cups of sugar, which is disgusting if you ask me, but whatever. The man drinks it all week long, and God forbid anyone else touches it. I'm talking about a grown man who literally wrote his name on the pitcher with a Sharpie. Now here's where it gets weird. Jake works construction, and every morning he fills up this beat-up old thermos with his precious tea. But here's the thing. He never actually drinks it at work. Never. He just carries it around like some kind of security blanket and brings it home still full every single day. I thought this was just some quirky habit until last Tuesday when I was doing laundry and found his work shirt absolutely reeking of alcohol. Not beer smell, not wine, straight up vodka. And this wasn't the first time. I'd been finding these shirts for weeks, but I kept making excuses. Maybe someone spilled something on him. Maybe he walked past a bar. Stupid stuff like that. So Wednesday morning, I decided to follow him to work. I know how that sounds, but I had to know what was going on. I parked across the street from his job site and watched him for like 20 minutes. The guy pulls out his thermos, unscrews the top, pours out all the sweet tea onto the ground, and then pulls out a bottle of vodka from his lunchbox and fills the whole thing up. I sat there in my car just staring. My husband of 8 years was day drinking at work, using his grandmother's sweet tea recipe as a cover story. The same man who lectured me about having a glass of wine with dinner because someone needs to be responsible in this house. But wait, it gets worse. That night at dinner, he's going on and on about how hard work was, how his back hurts, how his boss is being unreasonable. Meanwhile, I'm looking at him knowing he spent the day sipping vodka out of a thermos while operating heavy machinery. The guy was literally putting people's lives at risk. I didn't say anything that night because I was still processing it. But Thursday morning, same thing. Friday, same thing. By this point, I'm wondering how long this has been going on and how I never noticed. Then I remembered all those times he came home exhausted and went straight to bed at like 7 p.m. All those weekends he was too tired to do anything. The man wasn't tired, he was hungover. Sunday comes around, and here he is making his weekly batch of sweet tea, humming to himself like nothing's wrong. He's going on about how his grandmother would be so proud that he kept the tradition alive, how it's the one thing that gets him through the work week. I'm standing there watching him stir in cup after cup of sugar, knowing full well that this tea is just going to end up on the ground while he fills that thermos with vodka. That's when I snapped. The second he went upstairs to shower, I grabbed that pitcher and poured every last drop down the kitchen sink. Then I took his thermos and threw it in the garbage outside. When he came back downstairs and saw the empty pitcher, his face went completely white. "What happened to my tea?" he asks, like someone died. "I poured it out," I said, calm as anything. "You did what? Why would you do that? That was a whole gallon of tea." "Because I know what you're really using it for, Jake." The look on his face told me everything. He didn't even try to deny it or act confused. He just stood there for like 30 seconds, then sat down at the kitchen table and put his head in his hands. Turns out he'd been doing this for almost 2 years. Started when his dad got diagnosed with cancer and work was getting more stressful. He said he told himself it was just temporary, just to get through the rough patch. But then his dad got better, and Jake just kept drinking. He was putting away almost a whole bottle of vodka every day, showing up to work drunk, and somehow nobody had noticed yet. The worst part? He'd been buying the vodka with money from our joint savings account, telling me it was for work lunches. I'd been enabling his drinking without even knowing it, and he'd been using his dead grandmother's recipe as cover for it. We had the biggest fight of our marriage that night. I told him he had 2 choices. Get help immediately or I was gone. No ultimatums, no second chances, no "let's work through this together" bullshit. I wasn't going to watch him kill himself or someone else because he couldn't handle his problems like an adult. He's been in AA for 3 months now and hasn't had a drink since that Sunday.